What do you need to keep Britain's great maritime heritage alive and afloat? Well, first, you need your ship. Doesn't matter if she's not a famous or glamorous vessel in her own right. Heritage is all. But she does need something special. How about the enduring magic of steam? And of course, you won't get anywhere without people to keep your ship going. Keep her alive for everyone to enjoy. Without that, she just won't survive. That's where volunteers come in. Painting, fixing, steering, and engineering. Whatever it takes. All proud to say, we are Shieldhall.
Hello, my name is Anne McNabb and I work in the Shieldhall shop.
I'm Gareth Peaston and I'm one of the volunteer masters on the Shieldhall.
My name is Eddie Gordon and I'm a member of the deck crew on Shieldhall.
I'm Norman Tulip and I'm the superintendent engineer.
My name is Terry Brooke. I am one of two bosuns on board the Shieldhall.
My name's Claire Holmes. I'm one of the ship's captains aboard the Shieldhall.
They say beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and to her crew and those who sail in her, Shieldhall is a lovely ship. Elegant in design, with sweeping curves along her hull, reminiscent of the classic steamers of the 1930s.
We obviously don't have a lot of the new gadgets that some of the more modern ships have, which is what appeals to us as navigators and ship handlers, because we actually get to do a bit more hands-on than you might do on board modern ships.
But for all her elegance, Shieldhall was commissioned for a very fundamental purpose. As a Glasgow city father, you're proud of the way your city has grown into the engineering and shipbuilding powerhouse of Britain throughout the 20th century. But that means more and more people with all their needs, especially health and sanitation.
For many years, the sludge from the Glasgow sewage works has been taken by special ship downriver to be dumped in the deep water off Garach Head.
Nicknamed Clyde banana boats because their livery looked like that of a banana shipping company, they became a regular sight on the river.
I'm the captain of a civic ship that sails upon the Clyde. Rowing with my cargo, I'm content. A treasure trove aboard, we're taking out to sea. 1,800 tons of excrement.
In the middle of the century, here is Shieldhall taking treated sewage sludge that had been processed by one of the 3 wastewater treatment centres in Glasgow, taking it out to sea, down the channel and out to a point where the strong tides and the deep waters would make it, in their view at that time, perfectly acceptable to dump the sludge down into the sea.
We're the crew of the SS Shieldhall. Pull the chain and we'll answer your call. Our terrible aroma will put you in a coma. We're the crew of the SS Shieldhall.
The design and construction of Shieldhall is a story all of its own. She is one of the last steamships to be built, and today one of the largest still afloat and operating. Her classic layout, wheelhouse, high bow, cruiser stern, combines with a mixture of old and new to create a long, elegant hull form with both riveted and welded fabrication.
By the time the mid-50s came in, when this ship was built, the ship owner was still somewhat conservative and wanted the best of both worlds, i.e. riveted and welded. And this is shown to a classic example on Shieldhall. If you look at the ribs, they're all riveted. Above the waterline, typically, we have the welded joints. And then once you get onto the non-structural side, i.e. onto the superstructure, then that is all welded and not a rivet to be seen.
But the Glasgow sludge ships had another role, just as important to tradition, dating back to the First World War. A public service similar to Shieldhall's task today, to take groups of Glasgow citizens doon the water, carrying them on working trips down the Clyde, to enjoy the beautiful scenery along the river, and to relax in the saloon and view the engines, just like today.
Uniquely, she's doing a social task of disposing of the sludge that Glasgow certainly didn't want to know about, but also contributing to the enjoyment of a group of people who perhaps would otherwise not have the chance of going down the wonderful Glasgow Clyde estuary. But of course there was a necessary job to be done on behalf of the city.
In 1976, after 21 years service for Glasgow Corporation, Shieldhall found a new owner at the other end of Britain, Southern Water Authority. The city of Southampton became her new home. Here she continued her vital role of waste disposal.
Back in 81, I think it was, I worked on board for 6 weeks as a deckhand. We used to leave Marchwood at 7 o'clock in the morning after a real hearty English breakfast amongst the smell of the sewage being loaded, but it was absolutely fantastic. I remember that to my dying day, definitely. We used to get off the Isle of Wight about 11:30 in the morning, and the ship used to go round in a huge circle and empty the sewage out from the bottom of the ship. The bottom of the ship used to open up via 4 valves that are placed on the ship's deck. We used to go round in a large circle. That was only so that the engine intakes didn't pick up the sewage. We used to remember as a young man seeing the seagulls diving in white and coming out brown, but other than that it was great. And you know, when we were doing that, you could still see people on the beach at Sandown on the Isle of Wight, so I'd actually never go there swimming at that time of year.
But the time came when Shieldhall was no longer needed in her second home either. With the cost of fuel going up and up, her Southampton service came to an end in 1985. The ship's fate trembled in the balance. She lay dark and silent, but already volunteers had come forward to look out for her.
You did either all day or all night aboard the ship as literally a watchman, and we did that for about 2 years. It was cold and it was quite miserable. And then at the end of the 2 years, we formed a company, or a trust if you wish, to look after the Shieldhall and preserve it for what it was. That was a ship that was, style of engine was reaching the end of its career. And we thought it should be preserved and not made into Honda cars or razor blades.
Through a share issue for enthusiasts, a new company called Solent Steam Packet was able to buy Shieldhall for £20,000 and preserve her in a seagoing condition. On the 19th of June 1991, she was underway again, back into the Solent with passengers aboard, manned and run by volunteers.
I'm one of the founder members actually. I joined in the late 1980s, just before we bought the ship. My brother was already a member, and I came down to see him one day, and he showed me round and persuaded me to join. And that was about 26 years ago.
Keep me off the streets and in the pub. No, something I could do to help out and keep the ship up to scratch.
I came to retirement. I thought it was time to turn the clock back and go back to a job that I did 40 years ago.
And just as in 1988, far-sighted volunteers came together to save Shieldhall, so today they all keep her alive, underway and under steam.
The crew are wonderful, the people are wonderful. There's a terrific camaraderie on here, and I think it does communicate itself to the passengers.
She's a wonderful, wonderful piece of history. fantastic. I enjoy it every time we come on board.
It's really fun, it's a really good tour, and you can go everywhere, so it's really good.
The first time, absolutely magnificent.
I think it was great. It was really fun to go on. It's sensational.
When somebody comes aboard and shows a real interest and starts asking questions, it really gives you a kick. And one of the biggest kicks I get is when people walk in the top of the engine room, look in the top of the engine room, and you hear a shout of, "Come and look at this." I think that's fantastic.
Shieldhall is run by volunteers. We are a charity, and that's a very important element that we like people to take away with them. And obviously, if people do enjoy themselves, we'd love them to be able to come back and support us further with other cruises, or even to volunteer in some capacity.
VGS Shieldhall.
Shieldhall is an access all areas ship. Nowhere is out of bounds for visitors, and the volunteers are always on hand to help and explain. But they must also ensure Shieldhall is a safe and enjoyable vessel, in port and at sea.
Make sure when it goes through the hole you pull it tight.
And you really have to dig deep to get some of the vital work done, especially when it comes to cleaning the boilers.
You look inside there, there's a bit of soot at the bottom, so we'll get in there first, get the vacuum cleaner on it, get the soot out, get the loose out.
Clean boilers mean healthy engines.
Full head starboard.
And these mighty beasts really are the jewels in Shieldhall's crown. 2 triple expansion engines, using and reusing steam pressure 3 times to push the pistons up and down. Such engines were already rare when the ship was built, and they're even rarer now, though in their day they powered all the great ships, even including Titanic. For the volunteers who work them, keeping Shieldhall's engines alive and well is a labour of love as much as a skill.
You have to coax them along. It's all about the steam. If she was a motor ship, then I'm afraid I'd have no interest whatsoever. All things steam and mechanical.
You get the steam plant going and it talks to you. It's like having a companion.
When you go out to sea on the ship, you will see everything there, and whilst I wouldn't say it's breathing, certainly the whole ship comes alive.
Running maintenance is backed up by refit, with Shieldhall in dry dock every 2 years. Expensive, but essential. Steamship Shieldhall. Classic British ship, sailing as part of the National Historic Fleet, serving as a sea-going tribute to Britain's maritime heritage, kept alive by the skill and knowledge of her volunteers, bearing witness to the steam power that helped to make Great Britain great, and preserving those skills for a new generation, so that they too can enjoy the magic of the steamship, always ready to get underway. Her volunteers always glad to say, "We are Shieldhall."